Alright, this is the chapter on addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions 3.6. To do this chapter, you need to first recap your Sec 2 work. Talk about fractions. There are two ways you can go about doing it. You either add or subtract fractions, or you can multiply or divide. Now the last chapter, or rather the last part of the chapter, we learned about multiplying and dividing. When you're multiplying or dividing fractions, you can straight away simplify. Remember about the cancelling, then you simplify the fractions. But if you're adding or subtracting fractions, you need to first check whether the denominators are the same. And if it is the same, then you can just straight away simplify. But if the fractions have different denominators, you need to first make the denominators the same before you simplify. So let's look at some examples here. So say we have two fractions and I add them up together and the denominators are the same. If that's the case, then we can simply combine the two fractions together, 1 plus 3 over 5, which simplifies to 4 over 5. So that's done. However, in example 2, when I want to add these two fractions together, you see that the denominators are different. One is 3 and the other is 4. So you first need to find the LCM of 3 and 4. Okay, the LCM is between 3 and 4 is 12. So we will actually first multiply by 4 on the left fraction and multiply by 3 on the fraction on the right. So that you will get two fractions with the same denominator over 12. So the first fraction becomes 4 over 12, second fraction becomes 3 over 12. Now that they are the same denominators, you can add them up and simplify to become 7 over 12. Alright, so this is addition. Subtraction, same rules apply. First, check whether the denominators are the same. They are, then what you can do is combine the fractions together and simplify them. So you have 5 over 11 by getting 7 minus 2 over 11. But if the denominators are different, so the LCM, you can check between 3 and 7 will be 21. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the denominators same by converting them into 21. So I will multiply by 7 on the fraction to the left and multiply by 3 to the fraction on the right. So that it becomes 7 over 21 minus 3 over 21. And because now the denominators are the same, combine them together, 7 minus 3 over 21, leaving you with 4 over 21. So this is all recap of Sec 2 work. And we're going to apply to algebraic fractions. So say we have two fractions with algebra inside it. You have 2x over 3 plus x minus 1 over 4. So first check. Are the denominators the same? No, they're not. So you need to make them the same by finding the LCM, which is between 3 and 4. The LCM, lowest common multiple, is 12. So we are going to convert the fractions by multiplying by 4 to the fraction on the left and multiplying by 3 to the fraction on the right, such that it becomes 8x by 4 times 2x over 12 and 3x minus 3. Now how do we get this? When you multiply by 3, this is actually the rainbow method. So 3 times x gives you 3x. 3 times negative 1, it leaves you with negative 3. So are the denominators the same now? Yes. You can now combine the two fractions together. But because this is algebraic fractions, I need you to do this additional step of adding brackets to the terms on the second fraction. So add brackets to the second fraction when combining, always, whether it's plus or minusing the fractions. So in this case, we are adding the fractions. Always put the brackets to the terms on the right. And remember the trick, if there's a plus sign in front of a bracket, it does not change the terms inside the bracket. So when I open the bracket, when I remove the brackets, it still remains as plus 3x minus 3. So no change. simplify them when you have the same like terms here. 8 plus 3x, 8x plus 3x leaves you with 11x and minus 3 over 12. So this is the final answer. Following so far? So let's look at subtraction. Now first check, do they have the same denominators? Yes. So we can straight away combine two fractions together. So you take the first fraction minus the second fraction with the additional step of adding brackets. So always add brackets to the second fraction when combining. Add the brackets first. Then we need to remove the brackets. Now remember, the trick is if there's any minus sign in front of the bracket, the negative sign will change the terms inside the bracket. So initially 3, right? 3 here is actually a positive 3. So because of the negative sign in front, it will change this positive 3 to become negative 3. And then initially you have plus x, positive x, it will now change to become negative x. So now you have 1 minus 3 minus x. Okay, I hope you can notice the changes. And now you can just simplify the like terms together. 1 minus 3, doing some mental calculation, or you can use calculators, you will get negative 2. So minus 2 and minus x. And then you're done. Let's try another one. We have 5y over 7 minus y minus 1 over 5. Check, do they have the same denominators? No. So we need to make them the same first. So the closest denominator, the lowest common multiple you can have between 7 and 5 will be 35. Okay, so we need to multiply 5 to the left fraction and 7 to the fraction on the right. So because you're multiplying 7 to the fraction on the right, you will put brackets first because you have two terms to multiply with. Simplify them. So 5 times 5y gives you 25y over 35 minus, here applying the rainbow method, 7 times y gives you 7y, and then 7 times negative 1 gives you negative 7 over 35. So now the fractions are the same denominator, they have the same denominator. You may combine them together now, but whenever you combine, always add brackets to the second fraction. So we put brackets first, and then because the negative sign will always change the terms inside the bracket, it will become like this. The negative will change the positive 7y to become negative 7y. So I hope you can see this. This, right, this thing here, this positive 7y, there's actually a positive sign in front of it that's hidden. So because of the negative sign, when you multiply together with the positive sign, it gives you negative 7y. And then you have the negative sign, negative 7 here. Because of the negative sign in front of the brackets, it will change. When negative times negative, it gives you positive 7. So that's how you get this. Or the shorter way, the trick is to remember that if there's a negative sign in front of the brackets, you will change the signs inside the brackets. So you have 35 plus 7, you will rearrange the terms, minus 7y, leaving you with 42 minus 7y over 35. I hope this clarifies.